Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at the third wave of Solar Auxilia releases for Warhammer the Horus Heresy. So first of all I want to say massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us free review copies to have a look at on the site. In this video we're going to be checking out the kits, seeing how they build, checking out what options we've got in there, can we make them modular, which is something we've been able to do with a lot of the Solar Auxilia units so far, which is really cool. And yeah, we'll have a look at the assembled models at the end of the video as well. Hopefully we've got some paint on these, but I've got a feeling because I've got the dark oath stuff on at the same time, I'm not going to be quite there, but I want to make sure we get these built and show like the interior detail and stuff on the Medusa, because that's pretty cool. But yeah, predominantly we'll have a look at the kit, seeing how they go together, and then there's going to be a full write-up over on spruesandbrews.com as well. We're going to have pictures of the sprues, the instructions, and the kits themselves, and see how they stack up to some other tanks in the range. So yeah, we've got the Hermes Sentinel squadron here. So this builds a fast choice and an elite choice. If you take the new Sentinel detachments out of the later supplements, you can take these Sentinels as core as well, as a kind of scoring line unit, which is really cool. And we've got the Basilisk / Medusa multi-kit. They can build either of those artillery weapons, and like I mentioned earlier, that has got a fully detailed interior as well, which is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. There's some shots kind of there of what that looks like, but I'm assuming we can build this so you can take the lid off and have a look inside it, because, well, that'd really appeal to me. So yeah, I don't know when to build this one. I think I'm probably going to build it as an Earthshaker because it looks cool, where I think on paper the Medusa mortar is probably better, but you know, rule of cool all the way for me. Looks really, really cool. And we have got the Hermes Sentinel squad as well, and like I say, there's two options for that as well. And basically the main difference of the two different builds, it changes what weapons they've got access to as well. So you're talking grenade launcher or multi-laser for the fast attack choice, or a heavy flamer and Volkite for the elite choice. These guys you can take as part of your Velatari detachments, regiments, I forget what they're called in Heresy now, but your triad of units you can take some Sentinels, so it doesn't I guess eat into your slots, which is really good, because in a Solar Auxilia army that is very easy to do. So I think what we're going to do is have a look at the tank first, because yeah, I'm a bit of a tank nut and I very much want to do one of these for my Death Corps of Krieg. So I am going to be building up a Solar Auxilia force for a tournament this year. So I think I'm probably going to lean towards either the Sentinel detachment or the artillery one, because I think they look really cool. Now obviously this is a little bit different to the 40k one, in that it is built on the Leman Russ chassis rather than the Chimera chassis, because the Chimera didn't exist yet. So obviously some of the sprues we'll see from previous kits, and that's something that Games Workshop have done really well with the Heresy stuff. By recycling those kits, it makes it a lot easier to put out more variants and vehicles, because they can just put out a new frame that basically just has the new parts for it. So yeah, so that's really, really cool. So that's the existing Leman Russ frame. We then get a couple of new frames for the weapon itself. It looks like this is the parts for the Medusa cannon, and the crew on there as well, I think. So again, we'll see if there's any room for making these swappable. All of the other Solar Auxilia tanks were. I suspect this one might be a bit difficult compared to the others, but if you build it so we can take the top off it, then you know, maybe that will work. So that's that weapon sprue there, and then we've got what looks to be the main kind of frame of it as well. So we can see some of that interior detail there as well. So maybe it hasn't got a lid. Maybe you can see all that exposed from the back of it, which would make building it a little bit easier. If the weapons are wedged between these kind of contact points, it might make it a little bit harder to make it modular. So we'll have a look at the instructions there at the end of the video. I'll share if that is doable at all. But yeah, that's a really nice tank. I'm looking forward to building these up. I've got a Death Corps of Krieg army for 40k, so yeah, any heavy artillery and stuff does appeal to me. So that's cool. And then we get the standard Solar Auxilia upgrade frame as well. We've seen this in all the tanks with the dozer blade and the pintle mounted weapons and stuff, so we've seen that before. And likewise we also get the Solar Aux transfer sheet. But what we're going to do is have a quick look at the instructions and just see if we can see any potential for magnetisation or you know, swapping out the bits. I've got a feeling it's going to be quite different towards the two builds, but you never know. It looks like it's just the main weapon. So if there's a way of swapping that out, even if you open it up and do it, then we might be able to do something. But again, I'll report on that later on in the video, because I think a lot of people will be interested if you can swap them out. It's been a really good thing on the other Solar Auxilia tanks that it is very easy to make the weapons modular. The Malcador, piece of cake to do it. So let's have a look here. So it looks like we have got a couple of different mounts maybe for them. Yeah. We'll report back on that, because I think it might be possible to do it. That goes on there. Does it use the same parts for the Medusa? Obviously some of the detailing on the Medusa is different too, but I'm sure you could build it so that isn't the case. Let's have a look. So yeah, I think it is the same mount, and then the weapon plugs into it. So with a blob of blue tack or some magnets, it might be fairly easy to do that. Like I say, I'll report back on the end if it is doable. I'm probably going to predominantly build it as a Earthshaker, but I will build the other gun, and if it is swappable, then amazing. I've got two tanks for the price of one. Obviously all the interior detail and stuff, I'd probably paint that before you stick it together, just to make it a little bit easier to get to, because I think it's going to be difficult to paint that detail if you do stick it all together. But yeah, it looks really nice. Like I said, I don't think it's the best rules wise, but it certainly can't hurt absolutely bombarding the enemy from afar with a massive gun. So that's a look at the new Basilisk / Medusa. We're also going to have a look at the Hermes Sentinel Squadron 2. This is the light Sentinel introduced in the new book, and again it looks pretty cool. We've got just two frames, which is to be expected really. A lot of these Heresy releases do work like that. And let's have a look. It looks like I've got no good bases in this box, which is no issue, but yeah, check that out. It could be a case that they've just been mispacked without them perhaps. But let's have a look at what we get in the kit. So, first of all, let's have a look at the sprues. So again, these are two completely identical sprues and can build up whichever variant. Again, we'll have a look to see if there's any potential of magnetisation. All the weapons should just slot in like with the other Sentinel, so I suspect this one will be pretty easy to do too. The only real difference are those shields at the side of the main kind of front shield. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult to build either. So that's the kit. We get the transfer sheet like normal. Like I say, it should come with bases. Obviously not in this box, so just check that, because it might be a case of a mispack. GW are always really good with any mispacks or bits missing though, so just reach out to them if that is the case and you are missing any bases. Hopefully this is just a one-off and yours is fine though. And yeah, like with the Heavy Sentinel, it looks like we've got a choice of different leg options as well. So if you do have multiple ones in the army, they're not all going to look the same, which is nice from a variety point of view. Let's have a look. So, looks like we build the main assembly. The light Sentinel then is quite straightforward. We build up the rider, he goes on by himself, and then we put the gubbins on the end of it. And then I think the weapons then just slot in the front, just like with the Heavy Sentinel. For the heavier version, it looks like you've got a different assembly for the rider. And then I think there's going to be another couple of bits that go onto the side of this, just to give it that more enclosed hatch. So we've got these little shields here. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult to make it modular, and honestly, I'd probably just build this as one variation or the other. But again, doesn't look too difficult to build, and certainly for this variant as well, it's going to be really easy to swap out the weapons. So what we're going to do now is jump to the future and have a look at the assembled models. So let's take a look at the assembled miniatures. Now for the Basilisk, I have actually left it in sub-assemblies so I can get to the interior detail, but just want to show you what it looked like. Kind of fully assembled first, and it is an absolutely gorgeous tank. Now I think it probably would be possible to magnetise this so you can swap out the two main guns, but it was quite a faffy kit to build anyway, so I just built it as the Basilisk. It's probably doable, but yeah, considering I had to leave the innards kind of open in order to get to the interior detail, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to build it as is. So there are crew that go inside, and again they look really nice if you want to focus on them. So yeah, there's a couple of crew that sit inside, and again the interior detail, it's quite a small little compartment, and you're probably not going to be able to see it when you paint it, but it is quite impressive. We'll have a look at that in a bit. So I will be painting it up, and I built it so that you'll be able to remove the top hatch and open the rear door. The rear door will attach with a couple of little kind of clips, I suppose, at the end. Again, in order to get to it though, I'm leaving that off till the very end. So if we take a look at the tank itself, what I have done, this piece I'm not going to stick down so that you can get a look at the interior detail. This bit is separate, this bit's separate, and then this side panel as well comes away. So that means that you're able to get in and see the interior detail, and it is really nice. The gun itself has got this like loading mechanism where you can open it up and you can see the next shell in there ready to be fired, and then this closes down again. All of this detail, realistically, you're probably not going to be able to see, but it is quite impressive. And then on the other side of the hull, you've got like the shells and some like tools and stuff in there. So it is very impressive, the interior detail, but get into it afterwards. The top hatch you can build so it's open, but again, if you want to see it, I'd leave that top piece so you can take it off, and again you can open up the back door and see it as well. But yeah, the tank itself is really nice. Lots of nice detail on there. If I was building a second one, would I build it so you can open it up? Probably not. I'd probably just stick it all together and get on with it. But for the first one, I think at least make that kind of openable and paint all that interior detail, just because I think it looks cool. So that is the Basilisk. We'll put that to one side, and again that was like what, about in 7 pieces there. That's probably the minimum you want to do without painting that interior bit before you stick it all together. This is like a best of both worlds, or at least you can blue tack it together and play while you're kind of working on the innards. The Sentinels, these are a lot smaller than I expected them to be, but they are very cool. They remind me of the Necromunda Corridor Walkers, so quite small. The crew, it recommends painting before you stick them in place. I've just stuck them in place because in the grand scheme of things I don't think it matters too much. I think they're going to be okay, and I've given them the grenade launchers. Again, like with all the other vehicles in the range, you could probably stick a magnet in there and have that swappable. The other variant, the Elite one, has some extra pieces on the side and a different choice of weapons as well, so I've opted to build this as the kind of light Sentinel because I want to run the Rite of War where these become line. So having nice little fast units that can score is going to be quite handy for me, so that's my plan with them. You'll note that the legs are reversed across the two of them that I've built, so they come with some kind of positioned joinings to have one leg forward, one leg back. You can actually trim those pins off to to give them a bigger range of movement, but obviously we've only got 2 in the army so far, so 1 of each pose works really well. So yeah, really nice little kit. These were really quick and easy to build. The Basilisk was a very challenging kit to build. I've, you know, built a lot of kits for the site now, and this was more akin to some, like, you know, historical military tanks I've built in the past. Lots of little bits, lots of fiddly bits. I mean, we saw the kind of the mechanism on the back of the main turret, so yeah, if you've got big fingers, you'll have fun with lots of little parts on this one. So it is a little bit fiddly, but I'm really impressed they're doing stuff like that interior detail, and you know, if that's a bit intimidating to paint, you could just shut it all up closed, but like they had the interior cockpit on the Cerastus Knights, I think that's a cool thing that they're doing, and I'm interested to see if they do it on any more kind of vehicles going forward, because they could have easily just had that you know, sealed off and not be able to see the innards. So I think that's a pretty cool thing that they've added. And that is all the kind of revealed Solar Auxilia release now. I don't know what's coming in the future. I mean, there's a lot of resin kits that still exist. We've got the Ogrin squads, we've got the you know, the flyers, we've got some of the different builds of Malkador, like the one with the flamer on and the little kind of flame canister that it's pulling behind it, and obviously super heavies as well. It'd be nice to see Bane blades and shadow swords and stuff. So I suspect that will all be coming in the future, but this is the end of the current wave. Obviously we know the summer's going to be very Age of Sigmar centric. Warhammer community did share that there's going to be more Horus Heresy reveals coming in the autumn. So if I had to guess, Mechanicum of Mars maybe is the next range. A similar kind of wave to Solar Auxilia, get some of the infantry out and some of the tank chassis along with some of the robots. That'd probably be a pretty, you know, over a year release all those kits. I mean, the Solar Auxilia, really, we've got enough to field an army released over 6 months, so the similar thing for the Mechanicum then adds a lot of variety to games of Horus Heresy, which is I think a lot of people in the first edition of Heresy was like, oh, it's just Marines versus Marines, and if you wanted to have anything outside that, it was quite expensive to get into. So I really hope that you know, we do get Mechanicum soon in plastic. So yeah, you know, even if I do a little allied force, it's easy to do. But yeah, that's our look at the third wave of Solar Auxilia kits with the Light Sentinel and the Basilisk. If you have enjoyed the video, why don't give it a like and give us a follow. We do lots of unboxings and videos like this, having a look at all sorts of Warhammer and non-Warhammer gaming systems. If you would like to support the site as well, I do have an affiliate link to Element Games in the description. If you use that, we get a little bit of a kickback, which helps support the site. And I've also got a full write-up along with better images of all these over on spruesandbrews.com. So if you do want a bit of a dive through the pictures, head over there. But until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.